Now that you have a basic understanding of Medicare and the steps to Medicare enrollment, I'm going to introduce you to a unique way to ensure that you're making step 1, timing, and step 2, type decisions that are best for your unique needs. Introducing the I-65 Medicare enrollment guidance software. This software ensures that you get the expert information you need to make the right Medicare enrollment decisions. I-65 is an independent educational company that is not affiliated with the sale of insurance products. It gets to know your unique needs and makes recommendations based upon you. By answering some simple questions you will know the answer to, you'll then receive your customized Medicare Roadmap report. This is an individualized report that details the information you need to smoothly enroll in Medicare, literally step-by-step Medicare enrollment instructions. Your roadmap also provides you with your specific initial enrollment period. In addition to the step-by-step instructions for today, your roadmap serves as a lifetime document. Print it, file it, and refer to it whenever you have questions about your Medicare situation. So now that you have a basic understanding of Medicare and the steps to enrollment, let's show you what the process of creating your own Medicare roadmap looks like. The first thing we will do to create your roadmap is to input some basic information: your name, state of residence, and your birth date. Please note, your information will not be shared or sold through the I-65 system, so take a deep breath, you're all good. Once we've entered that information, we'll work together to determine which basic category of I-65 best describes your situation. For this demonstration today, we're going to be assuming that you are going to be turning 65 years of age and plan to continue working after you turn 65, which is option 2. With this option, I'll be able to show you both Medicare timing, step 1, and type, step 2 questions. But if this is not your personal situation, don't fear. I-65 has several more options that can help about 80% of all Medicare eligible people. For those of you with very unique situations, we have other capabilities to ensure that you get the guidance you need. So with that, let's move forward. Once we've chosen our appropriate option, I-65 begins asking you some questions to better understand your unique situation. These questions do not require you to understand Medicare regulations. You simply need to know relatively basic things about you. For example, the first question is, are you receiving Social Security benefits? If you don't happen to understand any of the questions while going through the process, just click the More Information buttons. You'll find a lot of valuable information by clicking these buttons that will help you understand the questions or any unknown terms. For our demonstration, we'll say no because this person plans to continue working after 65. For this demonstration, we're going to skip a few questions here and there, but we'll definitely hit the highlights. Now, this question: does the company sponsoring your group health plan have 20 or more employees? We'll say that our company has 20 or more employees, option A. I-65 has some important information to convey at this point. So let's read what's in that valuable blue box. You are able to keep your current health insurance sponsored by a company with 20 or more employees after you turn 65. But then the question becomes, should you? Because you also have the opportunity to drop this coverage and fully enroll in Medicare. So which option is best? I-65 has a tool to help you create an apples-to-apples comparison of your current health insurance against Medicare. Let's take a look at that tool. This tool, again, will help you take into account many factors that you might otherwise overlook in order to truly create an apples-to-apples comparison of your employer group health plan against Medicare. These factors are things like Does your plan include dental or vision coverage, which Medicare typically does not include? Or are you subject to higher Medicare premiums? That's definitely a factor to keep in mind when making this comparison. Do you have any dependents on your employer plan? If so, they'd have to get other coverage if you move to Medicare. Do you contribute to a health savings account? If so, you'd have to stop making contributions if you move to Medicare. This could be considered a cost against original Medicare. All of these factors are then added together to really help you create that true cost comparison, which makes determining which option, your employer group health plan or Medicare, is the best option for you. So let's say that we've completed that tool and we've determined that it's better to fully move to Medicare. On the next question, which says, will you continue with your current plan once you turn 65? Let's say no. If we had decided to continue with the current employer coverage, we'd still have to answer a few more questions before we'd get a roadmap. So now we have some more important information to read. Basically, Medicare will be your only coverage once you turn 65. Now you have to enroll in Medicare Parts A and B and pick a Medicare Path, which will either be original Medicare with a Medigap or a Medicare Advantage plan. This is a very important decision, so consider your options carefully. Because you are enrolling in Medicare Part B, you do have a guaranteed issue right to get the coverage you want without any medical questions at this time. However, in the future, depending on where you live, your ability to change types of Medicare coverage may be limited, and we'll talk about this more as we go on. Next question. Do you typically spend considerable time at another location in the U.S., or do you plan to do that soon? If we were to click the More Information button, we'd learn that this question is referring to domestic travel for extended periods of time. Let's say yes to this question. When it comes to managing your finances, which option do you prefer? A, predictable monthly premiums with little or no out-of-pocket expenses for medical care, or B, considerably reduced monthly premiums, but with the risk for greater and maybe unpredictable out-of-pocket expenses. For this example, I'm going to go with a more budgeted approach to Medicare expenses, or A. So now the system is ready to start making some Medicare recommendations to us. So it's asking us if we're good with how we've answered our questions. If we wanted to make some changes, we could do so by clicking on any of the gray Change Answer buttons located on the right. But I'm going to say our answers are good, click the I Understand button and lock down our questions. Now, I-65 is making some recommendations on the type of Medicare coverage it thinks would be the best for this person's unique needs. But more importantly, it teaches you why. All right, so we'll go ahead and say we understand this information. Now, it's important to know that I-65 again makes recommendations, but it does not make decisions. It's your life, your health, your money, your Medicare, so it's your choice. The system will ask you what you would like to do. The first time you see a question that begins, "Will you choose?" however, I highly recommend that you go against that initial recommendation to learn more about what your other Medicare option might be. In this case, that's Medicare Advantage. So we'll pick B. This will teach us more about how Medicare Advantage might work for this situation. Okay, with that summary, we'll click the I Understand button. Once again, you're in the driver's seat. So now the question is, will you choose a Medicare Advantage plan? Let's say for this demonstration that we prefer original Medicare with a Medigap plan. So we'll click B. Now we're going to generate our custom Medicare roadmap. Your Medicare roadmap is essentially like two documents in one. The first part of the document is very specific information to assist you enrolling in or delaying Medicare, depending on your situation. The rest of the document is more, again, of a lifetime document. Print it, file it, and refer to it if you ever have questions about your unique Medicare situation. On this page, you'll notice your name, the date the report was created, and your unique Medicare destination. In this case, Medicare Parts A and B with a Medigap policy and a Part D drug plan. Page 2 in every report is handy Medicare-related resources. You'll find important links for Medicare websites in addition to contact information for an independent local insurance agent you may want to consider to help you get specific Medicare plans. Since this report is for a person turning 65 and enrolling in Medicare, it includes this person's specific initial enrollment period, based upon the birth date provided at the beginning of the process. Now, the all-important step-by-step instructions you need to take related to Medicare enrollment. Again, these are going to be specific to your unique situation. The remainder of your Medicare roadmap is that lifetime document. Print it, file it, and refer to it whenever you have questions about Medicare. This section reminds you what factors played important roles in choosing your type of Medicare coverage. If you choose to work with a Medicare insurance agent, this section can come in very handy to help you explain to an agent why you chose the type of coverage you did during the I-65 process. Your roadmap also contains information to help you select specific plans and then understand that coverage if you ever have questions about it. For example, this section explains how Part D drug plans work. Similarly, it will give you information to help you choose specific Medigap policies and then provide you with important information that you may need as you live with this type of coverage. And of course, a page on open enrollment, describing what open enrollment is, when it is, why it's important, living with Original Medicare. This is one of my favorite sections because it has a lot of important tidbits about everything from how to find new doctors to dispelling myths about Medicare and long-term care. Your roadmap is also going to dig into other goodies like foreign travel, or what if you ever decide to move? Your roadmap provides guidance on how to pay your monthly Medicare premiums and how to set up an Easy Pay account. If you're potentially going to be subject to higher Medicare premiums based upon your income, your roadmap will teach you about IRMA, which stands for the Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. And that's basically a summary of some of the contents of a Medicare roadmap. That takes us to the end of today's Medicare. And of course, if you liked this session today, please tell your friends. Thank you so much.